What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Phase 6, your source for music, business, motivation, and support. Today, I got a great topic. We're going to talk more extensively about team building. I'm getting ready to talk about a lot of the reasons that we decide not to do it or that we fail to do it, and the thought processes and mindsets that you have to commit to overcome that and prevent that, because you need your team to win. No one wins a championship alone. Empires aren't built alone. Nations aren't built alone. Let's get into it. It's time to build your empire, your nation. Time to get your championship. Let's talk about it. Phase 6. All right, so I do this, speaking and things of that nature. And I speak to a lot of people. I consult a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people. And a lot of times there are a lot of people that have great intentions. There's a lot of artists, songwriters, producers that have great intentions. They want to be successful. They have the work ethic. They either have the knowledge and network or the money. They have some type of, ambition or passion. They got a lot of the pieces necessary to be successful. But for some reason, they can't build a team. They can't build a team. And they say, I'm not a people person. I don't know how to get out there. I get all these excuses. And there are about 5 excuses that I get on a regular that I kind of want to address, and then some. Let's run down the excuses one time for the one time. I'm not good enough. I'm not known enough. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't know enough people. These are the 5 excuses I hear most of the time when it comes to team building and trying to get people to understand that you're not going to win without a team, the hurdles they want to face. So let's run down the list. Number 1, I'm not good enough. And normally I don't want you guys, some of you guys are cocky, some of you guys are prideful watching this and you feel like you the shit, whatever. But for the most part, there's some people deep down inside, either they don't say it off on the surface or it's underneath, or some people come right out and say it, but they feel like, I'm not big enough to have a team to draw people to me, to make people want, to work for me for free or do things for me. Like I'm just not, I'm not good enough yet. I'm not talented enough. I got to get a little bit better. I got to get, some cosigns behind me. I gotta have this, I gotta have that, I gotta have that, and then I can get a team. You gotta realize that is not the case. Some of you guys need a mirror check. Some of you guys need to get off in the mirror, look at yourself, tell yourself every day it's not about you. You realize it's not about you. It makes you say, well, what is this whole thing about? It's about making the world better for other people. Every successful business, product, anything, service, whatever, comes from making something better for someone else. The reason your music is going to succeed is because whatever you're saying is touching or affecting other people. Whatever energy you're giving is affecting other people. And you have to understand that is the value that you provide to the situation. So if you are good at that, then you are good enough. Now, if you're not good at that, if you do not create any good talent, music, any talent associated with you, then maybe you can say I'm not good enough. If that's the case, you're not ready. And if you're not ready, then you shouldn't be trying to build a team. You should be in the studio, in the lab, doing whatever you got to do, freestyling over beats on YouTube, whatever it is, just to perfect your craft. If you're at that point, you're still in the craft, perfection point of your career. However, if you're beyond the craft building portion of your career, then the whole idea that you're not good enough, you have let that go. Because if you want the world to hear you and you want the world to know what you do, then obviously you're good enough. So let's accept that first, okay? So I know it's psychological. I could probably do a whole video on this by itself, but you got to accept that whatever you do is good enough. Yeah, you got to get better. But once you get to the point where your stuff is dope, and honestly, if you're whack, that's another conversation, determining whether you're whack or you're good or not. But when you get to the point that you make good stuff, right? You make stuff that adds value to the market in some way, right? Then you're good enough. You're not known enough. right? And to me, this feeds into the same idea as the first one. I'm not good enough, right? I'm not known enough, which was when the person says, I'm talented, I know I have what it takes, regardless of whoever's taste in music, this person can put stuff out there and there's a group of people that like it and appreciate what they do. Now, music is very, on a one-to-one basis. Everyone has different views on music. It's very taste sensitive. So it's kind of hard to say that someone makes great music because great is different for every person. However, if there's a group of people that love what you do, It doesn't matter how small they are, it doesn't matter how large they are, you know, there's a group of people that love what you do, which means that there's other people like that all around the world, which means that if you expand your reach and your vision, then there's a way that you can get all those type of people grouped together that creates a fan base for you. So you not being known enough, yeah, you're not known enough now. We got to get to the point that we recognize that we don't need any validation at all for us to be successful. Okay, so yeah, you're not known enough. That's all the more reason for someone to want to be a part of what you're doing, because they can see the talent that you have and they want the world to see it too. That's the selling pitch right there. You know, if a person loves what you're doing, if you're active, you can attract people to you to want to be on your team. Like a lot of times people won't tell you they want to be on your team. They just look at you from afar and say, wow, that person's talented, this, that, and the third. They're waiting on you to reach out and say, hey, I want to make this bigger. Can we do it together? Let's work together to make this happen, right? Big thing. All right, so we got to let that go. Next, no money, right? Honestly, look, and I'm going to go straight to the next one. We'll do these at the same time. No money, no time, right? Everyone always talks about time, money, and there is a paradigm, time versus money. It does exist. But at the end of the day, it's the chicken before the egg. You have to make something move. Okay, it's not that either you're going to spend your time or you're going to make some money. You're going to make something happen. Something's going to happen somewhere to get the ball rolling. So if you say, in reference to team building, I don't have the money to pay for people. Well, what that really means is you don't have the ability to lead people, to motivate people, to make people want to follow you without spending an extensive amount of money. This is the music business. Everyone wants to be in the music business, okay? And everyone needs one another to make it. That's how this works. Nobody makes it in a bubble, right? The manager needs the artist, who needs the songwriter, who needs the producer, who needs the engineer, who needs the DJ, who needs the... Everyone needs each other, okay? And when that record breaks, everyone's going to have their hands in the air like, hey, I broke that, I made that. And everyone that was a part of breaking that and making that is going to become that much more successful because of that. Everyone needs each other. Okay, so if you have something of value that you're bringing to the market, then you don't necessarily need an extensive amount of money. You just need the ability to showcase the value that you bring so that everyone can see it, because value is money. It's an asset. If you're an asset, then you're going to bring money at some point in time. All right. Now, next thing is time. You don't have enough time for this. Well, listen, if you don't have enough time to recruit people to do what you want to do, then either you're mismanaging your time or you really don't want this, because you do have time. If you have a hot record, a hot situation already, and you're in the studio trying to make another hot situation and another hot situation and another hot situation, but you haven't changed your formula to recognize that I can make as many hot records as I want, but if I don't have the right team around me, that I'm not going to be successful. At some point, you got to stop. If not, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. All right. And if you want to win, if you truly want to win, you got to get off your high horse. You got to get out here and talk to people, network with people, and meet people. And you may say, hey, that's not my thing. Well, God darn, you got social media. DM somebody, talk to somebody, reach out in some way, present your value to another individual so that you can grow. You do have the time. You do have the time. The thing is, you don't want to do it. I'm telling you something right now, okay? I know you don't want to do it, right? You don't want to do it. But the more often you do the necessary things that you don't want to do, the more successful you will be. Your success will be defined by how often you do the things that you don't want to do in order to be successful. Because there's a list of things that have to happen in order for you to win, right? It's a list, right? And the things that you love to do, you're going to do it all the time. You're going to succeed in those categories. You're going to win. But in the areas, the things that you don't like to do, that's going to be the bottleneck. That's going to be where you fail. They say you're only as strong as your weakest link. These are your weakest links. The things that you don't want to do. Like if you know anything about technology and networking, your technology is only as powerful as the weakest link in your thing, in your chain, and where your signal's coming from. So if you have a cheap cord, but you have the most expensive television, you have an amazing router, you have all this other stuff that AT&T and Comcast and whoever else sold you, but you have this really cheap HDMI cord, you're not going to get everything you need. What if you don't even have an HDMI cord? You're still using the colorful shit, the yellow, red, white shit. You're not going to get the look. You're not going to get it. No matter how dope everything else is, you're not going to get the clear picture. And the rest of the world is never going to get the clear picture of you, because you're being weak in one area. We got to step this up, guys. We got to step this up. You want to be successful, you got to fix these weak areas. And for a lot of people that I meet, it's team building. Because if you can't get 4 or 5 people around you that believe in you, that are ready to work for you, how the fuck are you going to get the whole world supporting you? Hundreds of thousands of people supporting you, 10,000 people supporting you, 1,000 people supporting you. With 1,000 people supporting you, you can make a fucking career. Sell $100 worth of merchandise or content a year, and goddamn it, you're 100,000 there. Like, come on, man. Let's get this in perspective. And the last one was number 5. You don't know anybody, right? I hear this a lot. A lot of people move to chase their dreams in a new city, they're in a new environment, or just, they're just they don't know anyone in this space, in this career. Like, they got a lot of friends, but they don't know any friends that deal with music in particular. You don't know anyone. Well, listen, you're not going to meet anybody sitting around talking about how you don't know anybody. You need to be texting, you need to be DMing, you need to be meeting people. The shit that you don't want to do is the shit that's gonna make you win. I tell you, true story. I was reading Forbes magazine, right? Real story. I was reading Forbes. I was on the Forbes blog. I'm lying. I was on the Forbes blog, right? And there was an article about a radio promoter that breaks all the hip hop records. Chris Brown, they were name dropping all these people that he breaks records for. At that moment, right then and there, I looked up the guy. I reached out to him, I DM'd him on Instagram. 20 minutes later, we were on the phone having a conversation about radio promotions and how to work my records on the radio station and position my artists to success, right? I just reached out to the guy. Sometimes you gotta take action. We talked about that on another video, take action. You gotta take action. When you see an opportunity, you gotta fucking go. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make a play. Period. I know you're a genius in the studio, but you gotta get out the studio. But that's also the reason why you need partners, right? You need a manager who is gonna turn around and make that call that you won't call and do the things you don't wanna do. So if you invest a little bit of time into building your team, then you have a bunch of people around you that will do all the things that you don't wanna do. And now that chain that we talked about that was weak just got strong. And now that one cable that was preventing the world from seeing the clearest picture in the world, it's now fucking there. It's capable. You done brought some people on that fixed that whole situation. You ain't even 1080p, you 4K. You whatever the fuck comes after 4K. You're amazing. People can't see it. It's a part of your diamond shining situation. We talked about that on Uncut Diamonds. Come on, guys. Come on. And here are another couple other incentives that I thought about, like in general, when it comes to bringing people on your team, things that I noticed, things that you just kind of feel when it happens. One of the things is it keeps the spirits up. At any given time in a project, spirits can go like this. Your energy and how you feeling about a project. Artists, this. One day you feel like this about your career, and one day you feel like that about your career. You just go through moments and shit. And by having more people around, it keeps the morale up. It keeps the energy up. Because when one person's down, one person's up. When one person's up, hopefully he ain't down. If not, he can pick them up. And everything can kind of stay at a nice pace. That way you're not feeling all these crazy emotions, and everyone can stay positive and follow the dream, right? Keeps the spirits up. Good part about it. Another bonus I noticed is that you just have more promotion. You have more people with more resources, with more ideas, with more actions, and it's just going to be more promotion overall. 5 people involved on your team who know 5 people, who know 5 people, who know 5 people, you're getting closer to a viral situation versus just you alone. So having more people and more ideas in the room just generally helps your promotion and marketing efforts. More people equals less work, which equals more time, which gives you more opportunity to do the things that you need to do. Last but not least, having another person on your team, it's like having a trainer in the gym. It's like having a gym partner. You have somebody that's going to keep you accountable for the things that you say that you're going to do, which is so freaking important in any situation where you're trying to accomplish a goal. Accountability is important, and having people on your team that depend on you and you depend on them, it increases the likelihood you're going to get your goal accomplished. Because if somebody is sacrificing whatever it is they could have, they got a degree, they could be going to school doing this, that, and the third. Instead, they're running around following you with a damn camera. Instead, they're running around doing graphics for you. Instead, they're running around doing this, that, and the third. Instead, they're running around managing you. Instead, they're running around doing whatever it is that they're doing for you. You don't want to let that person down. Accountability does that for you. It's an important part of having a team. It's necessary to have a team. A lot of you guys have issues with those first 5 things that I mentioned before, and it's preventing you guys from being successful. Now, this whole thing is a part of a team building series. Some of the content that I give you, I know some of the parts of this video are going to be step by step. This is how you recruit a person to be on your team. And other parts is just mental and thoughts and ideas I need you guys to have in your head as you move forward through that process, because being successful in business is really mental. It's very, 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 very mental, okay? Another piece of it is very, very, very paperwork oriented and knowing your shit. And another piece of it is doing what the fuck you know, okay? Which is taking that mental and that paperwork and actually applying it. When you get those three things together, you're gonna be successful on this side of the space. Okay, very, very mental, very, very paperwork, executing what the fuck you know. If you can do that, you can win in this space. And being a person that can build their team is important to your success. I'm Sirr Love. I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little and a little about a lot. When I get on this goddamn camera, I give you guys everything that I got every time. At least I try. That's the purpose. Go to www.phasevi.com. Check out more videos, download content. You know, I'm doing ebooks, I'm doing all sorts of, stuff just for you guys. Spending a lot of time to try to make the overall music industry, the underground of the music industry, more knowledgeable about the business, because you guys can really start making money if you start applying some of these things, right? Because I can tell you how to get out there and what to do and where to position your music to start getting a check and this, that, and the third, and walk you through the steps and stages. But honestly, you won't be able to pull the shit off without a team. So there's no point in me talking about all that unless you got a team, because you're gonna need a team to do it. And labels and executives and all these people know that. That's the reason why they're so invested in artists that have a team. And I need to do a whole video on the importance of a team. I gotta make sure I do that. Let's make a note of that. Anyone? Make a note of that. All right. Anyway, I'm Sirr Love. I'm out of here. Thank you guys. Phase 6. Take care.
If you need some marketing motivation, you can learn to transform your life and build your own empire. With Sirr Love.
Real talk, no chase.
Yeah.
Real talk, no chase.
Yeah.
Real talk, no chase.
Yeah.
Real talk, I said real talk, I said real talk, no chase.
Yeah.
Real talk, no chase.
Yeah.